A very good evening. With just 2 days of debate remaining before Parliament votes on one of the most crucial issues in decades, Theresa May is facing a huge battle to get her Brexit deal through. Today, the Prime Minister has urged her warring party to come together. But she's faced criticism from Brexit-backing former Cabinet Ministers Dominic Raab and Esther McVey. From the opposite side, a Remain-backing Conservative has told Sky News there is a risk the party will be permanently split.
Here in Kensington and Chelsea, Labour is hoping to follow up its shock win here last year with a council takeover. In terms of the aftermath of the Grenfell Tower fire, is that still the #1 issue for people here?
For a lot of areas it is. It'd be fair to say it isn't for everybody, but I've met some natural Conservative voters who are ashamed of the council.
Where it's been adopted overseas. I'm just interested in the specific four that were changed by Labour. Israel's existence as a state is a racist endeavour. Agree or disagree?
Well, I think it's pretty clear, isn't it? And particularly since they've adopted the nation-state law that it is an apartheid regime.
No, that's saying that a policy decision by the Israeli government is a racist policy, which would be allowed under, if you accepted all the
Well, you say
definitions.
that. Yeah, you say...
But, the nation-state law, and I've done it myself on air, I asked someone, can you describe that as a racist policy? And you can if you adopted all the definitions.
Yes, and that's fine, yes,
We're
great.
talking about whether the existence of Israel as a state is a racist endeavour. And would you like to be able to say that or not?
Well, look, it's irrelevant what you think as to whether or not you can say and criticise Israel and make the point about it being an appalling apartheid regime at the moment. The point is that, and we know this, that the IHRA examples in their present form have been used to fetter freedom of speech. And
some breaking news coming into us. We are hearing via the Reuters news agency that Zimbabwe's Speaker in the Parliament has received a letter from President Robert Mugabe, and President Robert Mugabe has resigned. That is according to the Zimbabwe Speaker. He has now suspended the impeachment debate that has been ongoing today, and wild celebrations have broken out in the Zimbabwean Parliament. An astonishing few days in Zimbabwe. Mr. Mugabe's own party, ZANU-PF, sacked him as leader of the party over the weekend. They then said he had 24 hours to resign. He then gave a speech, Mr. Mugabe, on Sunday night, and he didn't resign. And then the deadline for him handing in his resignation passed yesterday. Impeachment proceedings were started today, but in the last few moments, the Speaker of Parliament in Zimbabwe has said that Mr. Mugabe has now handed in his resignation and will no longer be president.
This kind of error again.
He's been in the job for a while now, and it's not as if he didn't have a bit of previous, calling President Obama part Kenyan, describing people in the Congo as breaking out in watermelon. Just let me finish. Watermelon smiles, implying people in Papua New Guinea indulge in orgies of cannibalism, and that was before he even took the job. Should he not already know how to conduct himself as Foreign Secretary?
Well, hold on. You're a journalist. Boris, when he made these various remarks, was working as a journalist, and you know what journalists are like, so you can't...
I'm not sure I've written anything quite like that, and I'm not going for a job in cabinet.
I'm sure you wish you had, but there we are. We're all very different.
You gonna miss it?
Yeah, of course I am.
Well, why don't we attempt to get this thing going, Ivan? Hey, it works.
Reliable.
Doing my best here. Let's see if we can get this thing moving. Hey, we're going. No stalling either. How about that? How about that, Sam? I bet you wish you were in here enjoying a nice ride around the Sky News Ocean Whale. It actually handles quite well. A bit tough on the steering, Ivan. Gotta say, yeah, a little bit.
You're only doing about 4 miles an hour.
Hey, we've got to stay safe. We've got to stay safe. Well, I was going to say, Sam, that you remember the film The Love Bug? It did have a mind of its own, and this car seems to be taking me home early.
As he speeds off through the barrier gates. Somewhere the owner of that car is watching this very nervously, Tom.
Secretary, while we've got you, I want to ask you about Grenfell Tower and the continuing situation there. You told the House of Commons last week, that no councils had requested extra money from the government. Now, according to the Huffington Post, Brent Council have said that is not true. They asked for £10 million for sprinklers and safety alarms. And John Healey also says that there are 5 other councils who have written to you. So can you clear up exactly what councils have been in touch with you and why they haven't received the money they've asked for?
Well, councils will get in touch with my department on many different things, and when they do, eventually that will be brought to my notice. But what we've been very clear about, and I think this is the really important point, is that during this testing period of councils looking at all the buildings that they've owned, we've said that they should make sure that whatever measures are required, whatever has been recommended by their local fire and rescue service, they shouldn't hesitate, they should take those measures, and whatever council, anywhere in the country, if they cannot afford to do so, they should approach us and we will work with them and make sure they have the funding that's required.
But it seems they have, and they've received no response. So, have you lied to the House of Commons? Because certainly Brent Council is saying they have asked for money and they haven't had a response. Yeah, I appreciate you're asking them to get in touch now, but these councils say they have been in touch.
No, what I've said, including the House and Commons and elsewhere, is that I'm not aware of any council that's got in touch with me, but that doesn't mean to say they haven't been in touch with other people in my department, and once their requests are then prepared and I will receive advice, then of course we'd look at them. But that's exactly how the process should work. But I think the important thing here is to be very clear to every council that they should get on with all the necessary work, anything that's recommended by their local fire and rescue service. And for those councils, and there may well be some that have an affordability issue, they should then approach us when we will work with them.
OK, we've also discovered this weekend that 2,000 homes in Kensington and Chelsea are empty. 600 of them have been empty for over 2 years. 50 of them have been unoccupied for 15 years. Isn't that completely unacceptable? And would you agree with the local MP, Emma Dent-Coad, that it is a disgrace that so many people are allowed to buy those homes, not live in them, just to park their money when there are so many homeless people, and people now looking for places to live from Grenfell Tower?
Well, the number of these empty homes in England is at the lowest level since records began. So there's been great progress, especially in recent years.
There's still 2,000 of them sitting empty, and 50 for 15 years empty, though, Minister.
I think the measures that we've taken in recent years to really limit the number of empty homes, they have been making a big difference. But you're looking forward, we always need to see what more we can do.
So tomorrow, with a bit more about the issues affecting young people in this campaign, let's have a word to our guest editors and some of the issues that are important to all of you. Nuz, let's start with you. This will be your second election that you're voting in?
Yeah.
And how do you feel? Because the general mood amongst the public is voter apathy. We've had so many elections, so many votes. Are you excited about this, or are you disengaged a bit?
Excited is the wrong word. I mean, I think I would really recommend and encourage younger voters to go out there and, really cast their votes. And I think that's a bit more encouraging, yeah. OK,
one of the issues Nuz raised there, AJ, was the fact that broken promises, and a lot of the time political parties will say, we're going to give you this, we're going to do this for you as young people, and then they end up doing something else when they're in power. Do you think political parties at the moment in this general election campaign are talking enough to young people about the issues that are affecting you?
I think certain parties are. I think generally the left-leaning political parties tend to be more engaging with young people.
Speaking of that new agreement, there is still a bit of confusion about Labour's position. On television yesterday, you said that the option of staying in the EU customs union should stay on the table, yet 6 days ago your party leader, Mr Corbyn, and Mr McDonnell don't want the option of staying in the customs union. Can you just clear that up for us? What exactly do you, the leader, and the Shadow Chancellor want? What does the party want, in or out of the customs union?
Well, if we're talking about confusion, I have to say that we start these negotiations in Brussels, all of us wanting a good deal for our country, but with real confusion on the government side as to what their mandate is. That's the question that our EU partners are asking.
Sakir, what's your position? What's the Labour position? That's the Conservatives. What is your official cross-party position?
Of course, that's the Conservative position, but these negotiations are really, really important. We do need to focus on that. But as far as our position is concerned, we're very clear. It was set out in our manifesto that we want to retain the benefits of the customs union and the single market.